Hello and welcome to all you listeners out there in the wasteland. And as always, this is your host Tabe, welcoming you to another broadcast of Pandora Galaxy Radio. If you can hear a slight tremble in my voice, there is a reason for that. It all started this morning. I awoke to the blaring sound of my alarm clock. I got out of bed and started my routine of getting ready for work. I am not going to bore you with the details, so let's jump ahead. Arriving at work, I noticed that it was a bit calmer than usual, but I thought nothing of it. Right as I was about to enter the station, something caught my eye. There was something odd looking on the ground. I moved closer to investigate and soon realized that I was looking on the mutilated corpse of an adult skag. On any other planet, such a thing would probably cause great distress, but I quickly shook it off. After all, this is Pandora we're talking about. So, I walked into the station and sat down at my booth and started preparing for today's broadcast. While tampering with all the audio equipment and adjusting the audio levels, I had the feeling of ice on my back. I shook it off as my mind playing tricks from not getting enough sleep. I quickly snapped out of my thoughts and got right back into adjusting the equipment. But, well, that nervous feeling of ice on my back just wouldn't go away. At that point, I decided that enough was enough. I was going to go prove that there was nothing to be nervous about once and for all. So, I got out of my booth and started looking around while nervously chuckling to myself at how stupid I am for thinking there's actually somebody else in here. But my confidence was quickly wiped away by a shadow darting by out of the corner of my eye. For a moment, I thought I'd just imagined something in my nervous state, but that thought was quickly erased by a sharp ring out of the other side of the hallway. I was now 100% sure that I was not alone anymore. My fight or flight instinct quickly got me ready for what was to come. My eyes were wider than ever, trying to make out anything out of the pitch black darkness swallowing the hallway. Since sight was not an option, my other senses immediately kicked in. Everything was completely silent, besides the sound of my own footsteps echoing through the hallway. There was a slight scent of rust in the air. There was also something else that I couldn't quite put my finger on. I know I've smelled it before, but at this point, I was almost at the end of the hallway and still no sounds were heard. But the scent of rust was slowly growing for every step closer. I was now at the end of the hallway, which connected further into a big room. It's hard to make out anything in the dark, but I believe there was something in the cafeteria. Looking around the room, I was met by only pitch black darkness and the strong odor of rust. But then something startled me. A quiet giggling could be heard from one of the corners of the cafeteria. I peered around the room and tried to make out exactly who or what was making those sounds. Then I heard footsteps moving towards me at a rapid rate. I froze. Stuck to the floor, I couldn't move an inch. All I could do was listen. And listen I did. I must have only stood there for only a minute, but it felt like an hour, just as my eyes were beginning to adjust to the darkness of the cafeteria. I was struck by a sudden flash of light. It was the lamps. They were on. At this point, I was shaking something fierce, even though I might not like to admit it. Just as I had regained my sight, I was startled by a loud screaming coming from behind me. I quickly snapped around, prepared to face whatever horrors might await me. The last thing I saw was the blade of a bus axe coming straight from my face, and that horrifying phrase etched into my brain. "Mommy, I want my meat bicycle!" So, I hope you guys enjoyed that story, and I would like to assure you that I am just fine. Our sewer boss was quick to patch me up with some of his head stuff after power got on. I don't know what happened, but what I do know is that I'm gonna have to wrap this up now. So, I'll leave you with this tip. Whatever you do, do not go looking when you hear the laugh. Just run. Just run as fast as you can and don't look back. Otherwise, you might just feel the hurt. Thank you, everybody. See you next broadcast.